So now we're going into the distributive law. So this is when you have a bracket with either an addition and subtraction inside, and you have on the outside of the bracket some letter or a number that you need to multiply in. So you need to remember that the number out front of a set of brackets, you have to multiply that number by everything inside the brackets. Okay, so we're going to use the distributive law with these examples, so expand and simplify. So distributive law, what we could do is we take that 2, we multiply it by the first one, and then we multiply it by the second one. So 2 times 3x minus 2, so we're going to leave the sign that's in the middle, 2 times 1. So the 2 times the 3x, because there's no exponent, or not exponent, variable with the 2, we just multiply the coefficients together, so I get 6, and then you just leave it as x. And then 2 times 1 minus 2. We can't simplify this anymore as they are not like terms. Okay, so for b, we have 3xy plus 2, or 3x, and then bracket y plus 2. So we're going to distribute it to both the terms in there. So then we've got 3x times y plus 3x times 2. So the 3x times y, since the variables are not the same, we just leave them multiplied together. So I have 3xy plus, and so the 3 and the 2 will multiply together to get 6, and because there's only the variable x, we just leave it as 6x. I cannot simplify this anymore as these two are not like terms, so that is your final answer. So we got some more examples, so we're getting a bit harder. So we have to remember to distribute it to every term, so each term in here is split up by an addition sign or a subtraction sign. So we've got to distribute it to each one. So I've got negative 3 times 2x squared, and then I've got minus the 3, so we're going to keep that, negative 3. We're going to keep that sign that's in the middle, times x, and then keep that sign there, so plus negative 3 times 1. So we've got negative 3 times 2x squared. The only variable there is the x squared, so it leaves the same. So we're going to multiply the numbers together, so it's going to give me negative 6 x squared. So if I have negative 3 times negative 3 and then it's x, so what I'm doing is I'm subtracting negative 3x. But if we remember back to integers, if I'm subtracting a negative, that's the exact same thing as adding a positive. So what I can do is just do plus 3x. And then the last one, I have negative 3 times 1, so that's going to give me plus negative 3. But again, remembering back to integers, instead of doing plus a negative, what we can just do is subtract a positive. So leave it as minus 3. Okay, and then that's our final answer because these are not like terms, so we can't simplify it anymore. For example B, we're going to distribute it in to each term. So I've got 4m multiplied by negative m squared minus, so keeping the signs, 4m times m and then plus, we've got 4m times 1, anything times 1 is just going to be left as 4. Try to get that m in there. Okay, so my 4m times my negative m squared. So remember when we're multiplying variables with the exponents, we're going to add the exponents. So this has an imaginary 1. I'm going to move this side. So we've got 1 plus 2, so it's going to be m to the power of 3. So then this negative in front of the m, it's like a negative 1. Because 1 is imaginary here, so we're going to do 4 times negative 1. So it's going to give me negative 4 m to the power of 3. And then I have minus 4m times m. So imaginary 1's there for both. So we're going to add those exponents together. So I'm going to have minus 4m squared plus 4m. This is our final answer because these terms are not the same because of the exponents. Each one has a different exponent. Therefore, this is our final answer. So example E, I've got, so here is the only thing we need to distribute because our 8m is not included inside the bracket. So we're going to distribute the 7 to the 2m and the 7 to the 3. That's going to give me, so equals negative 7 times 2m plus negative 7 times 3 plus 8m. So then negative 7 times 2m is going to be negative, so 7 times 2 we've got negative 14m, and then negative 7 times 3 is negative 21. So if we're adding negative 21, it's the exact same thing as subtracting 21. And then I have plus 8m. So let's put our like terms together. So I have negative 14m plus 8m minus 21. So the negative 14m plus 8m is going to give me negative 6m, because if I have negative 14 and I'm adding 8 to it, I'm going to get negative 6m minus 21. We can't simplify this anymore as 6m and the 21 are not the like terms. Okay, then example F, simplify, evaluate when x equals 3. So we're going to put our terms together that are like, so x squared, we're going to leave that at front, then I have 3x, and then you'll see we have another 3x, so plus 3x, then I have plus 4. This gives me x squared plus 6x plus 4. So now we're going to put 3 in for x. So I've got 3 squared plus 6 times 3 plus 4. So 3 squared is the same thing as saying 3 times 3. That gives me 9 plus 18 plus 4. So 9 plus 18 gives me 27 plus 4, I get 31, and that's your final answer.